Hello and welcome to Giddy Knits episode number 21. Today is Saturday the 16th of December and as usual I'm Helen. I am coming to you as usual from Surrey in the United Kingdom, where I live with my husband Tom and my two boys Arthur, who is 4, and Jasper, who is 1. And this is a knitting podcast for anyone who has stumbled across it. And I don't have any admin stuff for you this week. What else do I normally say in my introduction? I feel out of practice. It's not been longer than usual, but I still feel out of practice. I think I've got into the swing of Vlogmas, which I will mention in a second. Okay, so me, Helen. You can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Giddy Helen. And I am the dyer behind Giddy Yarns. And you can find my hand-dyed yarn on Instagram as Giddy Yarns, and also on my website, which is www.giddyyarns.com. And I sell through Etsy, so I have an Etsy shop which is Giddy Yarns. You can find links to my Etsy shop through my website, which is probably the easiest place to navigate it, because the search engine in Etsy is not very good. Although if you just Google Giddy Yarns, it'll probably come up quite easily then as well. Yeah, so Vlogmas. Some of you may have noticed that I have been taking part in Vlogmas this year. It was a very last minute decision, literally 9:30 on the 1st of December, 9:30 in the evening that is, on the 1st of December I decided I was going to do Vlogmas. But it's been lots of fun. I won't say it hasn't been a little bit stressful, because it has, trying to create, not create content, but trying to remember to record content every single day. And my Vlogmas is not the most glamorous, there's no cosy little corners sitting down and knitting with candles lit and peaceful relaxation, because I've got 2 young kids and I'm running a dyeing business from home. But it's real. That's what it is. It's my real life. It's every day, and hopefully you're enjoying it if you've been watching it. We're day 16, so I'm over halfway through Vlogmas. But yeah, although it has been a little bit stressful trying to get everything done, I've been really enjoying putting up little clips and shorter videos, which has been lovely. So yeah, you'll probably have spotted it if you've come to watch this podcast anyway, but it's all up on my YouTube channel, and you can see all of my Vlogmas videos. Okay, so what have I got for you this week? It feels like a slightly odd week this week, because I don't actually really have any works in progress. I've been quite focused on gift knitting. And I've also been doing a lot of dyeing for the shop and various bits and pieces. So actually, I've not been working on a lot of my works in progress again. But I do have some finished objects. I have got 3 finished objects for you this week. I'm going to show you a little bit of blanket progress for my granny stripe blanket, because I can't remember when I showed you it last. And I have added a little bit into it, so I thought I would just update you all on that. And then I was going to do a little Advent progress section. So I've not opened my Advent calendar for today. I took part in the 24 Days of Cheer Advent swap, which I mentioned on the podcast a while back. And I've been opening up my little swap packages, my little mini skein swap packages. And I haven't opened today, so I thought I would open that for you on the podcast. And I've actually been crocheting them into my granny square blanket every day. So I thought I would show you the progress, my Advent progress so far that I've made on that. And then I've got a bit of yarny goodness to show you, and I thought I would touch quickly on a little bit of future knitting, because I really need to cast on something for me. I think I've decided that all my gift knitting is done, but I can't decide quite what to cast on next. So I thought I would share my ideas with you. And then I was going to touch on a tiny bit of shop news. I haven't got a lot to show you, but I can certainly tell you what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. And that's it. I'm not going to have a behind the scenes section this week, because most of my behind the scenes has been shared on Vlogmas. So I haven't really got a lot of behind the scenes stuff to share that's not already been seen. So I hope you can understand that. Okay, so let's delve straight in then to finished objects. Although I am going to have some more tea. Okay, so finished objects this week. Oh, actually, before I go into that, I realised I've shared this on Vlogmas, but I haven't actually shared it here. I'm recording slightly differently this week. I'm actually going to be recording on my phone. Well, I'm currently recording on my phone. I've been recording Vlogmas on my phone, and I've been quite impressed by the video quality that I've been getting. But I've also been impressed by focus, because as I'm sure any of you that have watched me before are aware, the focus on my webcam has not always been the best and often frustrates me. So hopefully this will be a little bit better, but hopefully you'll still get a decent video quality. But we will see how it goes. I've got absolutely no idea whether I've got a maximum limit of the amount of video I can record in one go, whether my memory's going to get filled up. I've got no idea at all. So it could turn into a bit of a disaster, but hopefully it won't. And I'm sorry if it does seem to be a little bit, I don't know, sometimes I think it might keep focusing backwards and forwards a little bit. So if it is a little bit funny this week, then I apologise. But I'm not going to know how well it's going to work until I actually edit it. So we shall have to wait and see. Anyway, actually this time, moving on to finished objects. So my first finished object for you is Tom's pumpkin socks. And these have been a long time in the works. But here they are. I have finally finished Tom's pumpkin socks. And he has got a pair. And I am so, so pleased with these. These are just a vanilla sock. So I think for Tom, I cast on 64 stitches. I cast on 64 stitches, and then I work, I think these have got 60 rows for the leg. I use a German short row heel, and then I do 70 rows for the foot. They are a little bit big on my sock blocker, as you can tell, because obviously Tom has got bigger feet than me. And the yarn for this is Giddy yarns, and this was the pumpkin patch colourway. And I'm so happy with how this is knit up. It's so fun. Really, really nice and variegated. There was very little pooling, which I was very, very pleased about. But it was just a really, really fun colourway. And he actually really wanted to wear these earlier. He said to me, have you finished my socks while I've been away? And I said, yes, but it's podcast day, so you can't have them. You can't wear them. Which, considering how much frost is on the ground today, he was a bit disappointed about. But he did dig out his stripy socks, and he wore those. So yeah, finished object number one is Tom's pumpkin socks. Okay, so moving on to finished object number two. And actually, both of these, I think, are things you haven't seen at all, not even as works in progress. And they are both gift knits. So, if you are a member of my family and you have forgotten that I told you not to watch the podcast this week, turn it off and go away. I know I've not been able to really show these on Vlogmas because my parents have been following along with Vlogmas because they found it was really nice to be able to see a little bit extra of the boys. So I've not actually been able to share these at all, but I did say I would be showing them on the podcast, so if they didn't want to see, then they needed to not watch the podcast. But my first finished object is a Christmas present for my dad, and he asked me to knit him a cowl, and I think I've shown you the yarn for this before. And here's the cowl. And this pattern is the, oh, I can never get this the right way around. Is it the undertone or the overtone? I think it's the overtone cowl by Tin Can Knits. I've knit this pattern once before for Arthur, and my dad really, really liked it. So I've knit him his own overtone. I've knit him his own cowl. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. My dad picked the colours and my dad picked the yarn. This is so luxurious. I'm going to pop it on for you. It is really warm. It's not itchy. The colours are coming out, I guess they're coming out a bit better if I come a bit closer. There we go. Although I am now showing you, oh, I need to trim that end off. I am showing you the wrong. Anyway, that is the cowl, those are the colours. I'm getting distracted. My dad chose the yarn for this, and he brought it back with him from San Francisco. And it is very, very nice. I'm just trying to see if I've got the other tag. Yes, there it is. Okay, so it's Fibre Company in the Arcadia base. And the colourways are, the orange is called Orange Storm and the blue is Blue Heron. And it is a blend of 60% wool, 20% alpaca and 20% silk. So it is very, very, very soft and yeah, gorgeous. It's a DK weight yarn, which is exactly what I needed for the pattern, so that was perfect. And yeah, it's going to be a lovely gift. I really hope he likes it. He picked the wool out himself, so hopefully he should like it. And he didn't want anything itchy or scratchy, so hence, I assume, hence he went for something as fancy as this. But yeah, and it's lovely, and it's got silk noir in it. So there are places where you can really see, I'm just wondering if I can actually find a bit that I'm going to be able to show you on camera really nicely. There are places where you can really see, maybe if I just hold it up, you might be able to see some bits. I think you can see some just here, where you can really see sort of the silk noir, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but just popping through. But it's got such a lovely sheen to it, and it is just really, really drapey and really, really soft. So hopefully he's going to be really, really pleased with it. So I have one more finished object for you. Whoops, sorry, dropped the camera there. And again, you haven't seen this at all. But I knit my mum a pair of mittens, little fingerless mittens. She was saying she wanted some fingerless mittens. They're still a little bit damp and the colour is very, very dark. So they might be difficult to show. Oh no, look, oh no, that's coming up beautifully from my side anyway. This is the Maze pattern by Tin Can Knits, which is part of their Simple collection. So it's a free pattern. I will pop one on for you so I can show you in a bit more detail. They are still a little bit damp, but they are just little fingerless mitts, which is what she wants. My mum plays clarinet, and quite often in the winter, the band she plays with do quite a lot of Christmas caroling and things like that. So fingerless mitts are perfect because she can still play clarinet and wear something to keep her hands slightly warm. So I think she'll be really happy with these. And it's just got this lovely sort of rib pattern down the side. And it's reverse stocking stitch on the rest of the body, so the hand and the back, with this rib pattern down the side, a little bit of rib at the top and the bottom, and then the thumb is knit in stocking stitch. The yarn I used, this is yarn I dyed myself. It's on the Drops Fable base because it was just sort of a messing around kind of yarn. And to be fair, this is a colourway that went wrong. I can't remember now what I was attempting to do, but I put far too much navy in and it completely overpowered all the other colours that I'd put in. So I just ended up going with it and I threw a load more colours in the pot and I ended up with this, which is really nice. It's not my colours at all. I'm not into, that's not right. I don't tend to gravitate towards darker colours. I like my bright colours. But it's lovely. And actually what I did, because the pattern calls for worsted weight and I only had fingering weight, what I actually did in the end is I wound up both 50 gram skeins that I had in this colourway. I wound up both of the 50 gram skeins that I had in this colourway, and then I just held them double. And I'm really happy with the size that these came out, so that worked perfectly. So I'm definitely going to do that again in the future to get a worsted weight. Yeah, so I think 2 skeins of fingering weight gives you a worsted weight, sort of maybe a heavy DK to worsted weight. Anyway, in my experience, that's kind of what I found. And I've still got about 65 grams of this left, so I'm not quite sure what to do. I mean, part of me is tempted to use this to knit her a matching hat, but then trying to find a fingering weight hat that I liked that would work with this yarn, and also having the time to knit a fingering weight hat by Christmas, I'm not sure it's going to happen. But she's got the socks that I knit her that you've seen before as well. So I'm more than happy for her to have 2 hand knit items for Christmas. So yeah, so these are the Maze mitts. As I said, patterned by Tin Can Knits, and I'm really, really pleased with them. And I am quite impressed by the focus on my phone. So that is all my finished objects. I haven't really got any works in progress. I finished the mittens last night. They still need to block a little bit. They're a little bit damp still, so they still need to dry. I finished the mittens last night, and I've been working so much on Christmas gifts that I haven't actually got anything else on the needles. Well, Arthur's jumper, I haven't cast on the second sleeve yet, so that's not actually on needles. It just needs the final sleeve. So I'd like to get that done before Christmas. My stripy glacier-esque colourway socks, I haven't cast the second one on yet. I've got the first one finished. And that's pretty much all I had on the needles. Oh, my jumper. I haven't worked on my jumper at all. I've been too focused on gift knitting. And again, I really want to go back to that. And I could go and focus on, I don't know, there's a few Christmassy, there's a few sort of wintry festive projects that I'd quite like to cast on in the lead up to Christmas and work on alongside my breathing space. Although actually I could get my breathing space back out again now and work on that. I'm thinking of taking it with me at Christmas because I think it would be an ideal project to actually work on, because it's obviously quite long rows, well not rows, but you know, long rounds. It's a good sort of thing to work on while we're having conversation and I'm just sat with family. But anyway, so I don't have any works in progress really to show you this week, was what I was kind of getting at. But I thought I would just show you my granny stripe blanket again, because I don't know how long it's been since I've shown you it. So I thought I would just touch base with it, and then I can move my marker and I'll have a bit of an idea as to when I showed it to you again this time, because I can't remember if I moved the marker or not. But here it is. All right, I think I've just got some yarn attached to it, so I don't want to lose that. Let me stick my thumb in there so that we don't lose. There we go. Oops. So here it is, and it is growing. I am very, very pleased with the progress on this, and I am just so pleased with the colours and everything in it. I think looking at it, I need to get a bit more variegated or self-striping in next. But yeah, it's definitely growing. It's about, oh, I don't know, I'm rubbish at working out how big it is. Maybe 60 centimetres? What's that, 24 inches? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm so pleased with it. And it is lovely to just work on and add scraps into. But yeah, I just love the colours in this. And it is a perfect project for when you're a bit tired and I can't really focus on knitting. So I was working on this a bit last night because I didn't really want to cast anything on new after finishing my mum's mittens. I dropped the little bit of wool that I had attached to this. Excuse me, I'm going to disappear. There we go. But yeah, it's a beautiful palette cleanser and it's so much fun, and I keep saying that, but it really is a lovely thing to work on. I would highly recommend it to anyone, and the fact that you can use it to use up scraps and stuff like that as well is such a pleasure. It really is. Okay, so that is kind of it really at the moment with that, but as I said, I'm going to keep working on it, so I will show it every once in a while just so you can see how much progress is getting made. So the next thing I thought I would move on to is some Advent progress. And I was going to open my Advent calendar with you. So I've got all my Advent minis from my swap package in this, I can't remember what the name of this fabric's called, but anyway, in this bag. It's just one of the ones you get free when you make an order from Wool Warehouse in the UK. But they're very handy. So I shall delve in here and see if I can find number 16. Excuse the rustling. 18, 20, 24, 17. Oh dear, it's going to take me a while now and you're all going to be watching. I have this issue when I record this on Vlogmas. 19, aha, 16. Okay, so here we go. Here is number 16. And I love this wrapping paper, this Christmas lights. I think it's so fun. So what is inside number 16? And here we go. So here is the mini skein. Lovely greens and whites. And this is No Makers, their mistletoe colourway. So I think these were part of they did a little Christmas mini skein set. And I've had a few that have come from this set throughout my swap. So I think my swap partner might have purchased these ones to add into the swap. So I'm really enjoying this. And it's lovely having a swap partner who's in the USA, because actually a lot of the yarns that I've been receiving are yarns that I wouldn't get in the UK at all. And No Makers is one of the yarns that I've always wanted to sort of try. I've really wanted to try their yarn. I follow them on Instagram and they have such fun colourways. So it is lovely to be getting yarn from companies that I wouldn't normally be able to purchase yarn from. So I thought I would show you the progress I've been making so far on my blanket with the Advent Minis. It's all a little bit chaotic in here, so bear with me a second. So this is my blanket so far without Advent Minis added in. I've got all the little bits of paper from the packages so that I can write down what all the colourways are. So this is where I was before Advent. I had 4 rows, that's upside down, not that it really matters, but I had 4 rows on my blanket, and it's 12 squares across, so it's quite wide. It's kind of to fit over our double bed. It's probably going to be a lap blanket, but I want it kind of double bed sized. And then I have completed, sorry, I'm trying to work out where to put it. I've completed 1 row because obviously, as I said, each row is 12 squares. So I have completed 1 row. And here it is. And I thought I would just run you through quickly if I can work out which is the right side. And if I can remember all the colourways. I thought I'd run you through quickly. And in fact, I don't think I can remember all the colourways. But I think the first one was Mountain Colour in the Red River colourway. And then it was Haute Yarn in the Moving Too Fast. Then that was one of the No Makers ones. That was Eggnog. Then these next 2 were from O Loops. That was again another No Makers one, and that was Fruitcake. Then that one, I think that was it was Hugh Loco, which again, that was another one I was quite excited to get, in the Staccato colourway. And that's actually, I don't know if you can see, it's on a tweedy base. And then this was another O Loops. I've forgotten the yarn company name for this one, but it was it was Ladybug colourway. And then again, I've forgotten the colourway for that one. But the beautiful, that was another No Makers one, and that was Eddie Griswold. And I think that was a Space Cadet one. And I can't, again, the colourways were numbers, so I can't remember the colourway number for that one. So that was the first 12. And then I've got the next 3. Oh dear, so now I'm thinking, do I remember them all? I think that was that one, wasn't it? So that one was Yarn Ink, which again was another one I was quite excited to receive. And that's the Empress colourway. Then that was another O Loops one. And then that one was another Space Cadet one, which again was a number. But yeah, so my next one I add in will be this one. And I said on the Vlogmas the other day, I'm just adding these in as I get them. I want them to be 2 rows of my Advents from 1 to 24. So I'm not worried if I get sort of 2 colours next to each other that are quite similar, because over the whole distribution of the blanket, that's not gonna bother me. So yeah, so that is my Advent progress, and I'm quite proud of myself because I've been adding them in every single day, and I've kept up to speed so far. So hopefully I'll get a chance this afternoon to sit down, wind this one up and crochet this one in as well. Now the only issue I have, and this is a slightly, almost a little plea for help as well. I put a little plea for help out on Instagram. The only issue I'm going to have is that I'm using this to join it. This is Cascade Heritage, their 4-ply sock base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it is in the grey colourway, which is colour number 5660. This is all I have left, and absolutely nowhere in the UK seems to have this colour in stock. I have looked on all my usual websites I've looked on unusual websites, I've Googled it, and nowhere in the UK seems to have this colour in stock. So if anyone out there has got a skein of Cascade Heritage in the grey colourway, which is colour number 5660, and you would be willing to trade it or sell it or anything, I would be very, very grateful. I'm more than willing to pay you in money. I'm happy to pay shipping. I'm happy to pay you in yarn. If you want some yarn in exchange, I'm happy to send you some Giddy yarns or anything. But I really, 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 really need to get hold of some more of this colour. So yeah, if anybody has got a skein of this, then please, please drop me a message, either on Instagram or on Ravelry or anywhere, because I would be very, very, very grateful. Otherwise, I think I'm going to have to resort to attempting to dye match a colour if I can, which is never going to be 100% the same. So yeah, I would really like some more of this. Okay, so moving on to yarny goodness. Now I've had a few things come in the post recently. I've not made any purchases, but I have had 3 things arrive as part of the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted, that I think I've mentioned before on the podcast. And I thought I would show you what had arrived. Again, I've touched on these in the Vlogmas, so I won't go into them in masses of detail, because if you've been watching Vlogmas, you'll have seen them already. Excuse the rustling, I'd left these in the plastic bag. So one of the first things to arrive was some Nora George yarns. And this is gorgeous, and I'm so happy with this. And this is the Fleckle colourway. It's just really pretty colours with lovely speckles on there as well. Really Eastery. So I'm thinking of saving this and casting on some Easter socks with it at Easter. I think that would be really fun. The colours just make me think of Easter. And it is a 75-25 merino nylon. So it'd be perfect for Easter socks. And I think that would be really, really fun. So these are destined to become Easter socks. And then she also sent me a mini skein. And this is the Jane Eyre colourway, which is really, really pretty, sort of pastel colours with some blue and green speckles on there, which is absolutely lovely. And I said on the Vlogmas, I'm really pleased to receive this because I have just finished listening to Jane Eyre on audiobook and really, really enjoyed it. So it's really nice to have a mini skein that will kind of represent that book to me. So I'm really pleased with that. Okay, so the other thing I received, again, we're going to have some crinkling, is a bunch of mini skeins. And I showed these on Vlogmas, was it yesterday? So if you have watched, then you'll have seen them. But here they all are. Lots and lots and lots of lovely mini skeins. They're all just about 5 grams, if not a little bit more. So these are destined to either go into my blankets, or I was contemplating making a pair of scrappy socks out of these. There's about 60 grams here, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 colours. So yeah, I'm still contemplating doing scrappy socks. I've been enjoying watching everybody's Advent scrappy socks. And I've got a feeling that some of these, I'm not 100% sure, but I've got a feeling that some of these might be self-striping. In which case, scrappy socks might work really, really well with self-striping. I thought that might be really fun. So yeah, that might be what these become. And when I put the plea out, the lady who sent me these, oops, I've just dropped it on the floor. I don't want to say names just in case people don't really want to be mentioned on the podcast. I can't get it back. Here it is. She was offering me Desert Vista Dyeworks minis, so I think that at least most of these are Desert Vista Dyeworks, but I have no idea of the colourways, so, but still, they are super fun. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to find places to put things. And the last thing is very exciting for both me and for you lot. So, during Get Your Wishes Granted, Katie of Naughty Knitting Sacks, oh, I've got too much glare, there we go, contacted me and said she'd love to send me a bag when I put a plea out asking for a project bag of some kind. And Katie was super generous. She's in America, and she was super generous, and she sent me not one, not two, but 3 bags and said I can either keep them all or I can use one as a giveaway. So I am going to use one as a giveaway. So one of these will be for you, and I think I have decided which one I am going to give away. Now, if you watch my Vlogmas, you'll be aware of what this fabric is, and that's fine. But just in case anybody has not been watching Vlogmas, these fabrics are a bit rude. Let's go with that. They're a bit rude. The external fabrics aren't, but the internal fabrics are a little bit rude. So if you do not want to see the rude linings of these bags, if you feel that you might be offended, which is perfectly fine, then please skip ahead and to the timestamp that I will put here, because I do not want anybody getting upset by what I'm showing on the podcast. So I want to give you the opportunity to still watch the podcast and avoid any inappropriate content, if that makes sense. I mean, as I'm sure you're aware, there's very, very rarely any inappropriate or content in this podcast, and I do like to keep it that way. But I have to share these bags because they're amazing. So if it is something that may offend you, then please feel free to just fast forward through this section. And as I said, I will put a timestamp so that you know where to go to completely avoid the linings of these bags. Okay, so I'm going to show you the bags. The first one, which is definitely staying with me, is this lovely bag here. And it is an orange outside bag, and she does it with a loop that you put through the loop there, and it seals the bag up. Whoops, I've just dropped it. Which is super fun. But the lining of this fabric is just amazing. Can you work out what that is if you haven't seen it already? This is vagina fabric. How awesome is that? I just think that's so fun. Okay, so we've restarted again. And you've just seen this lovely bag with the vagina fabric. And then the second bag, which again is going to stay with me, is this one here. And I couldn't resist the purple exterior. And this is the main reason that this one is staying with me, because of the purple exterior. And then inside this one, you have got rabbits doing what rabbits do best. And I hope that's showing up. Which again is super fun. But the last bag that she sent is going to be for one of you guys. So I'm going to put a thread in my Ravelry group, which is Giddy Knits podcast on Ravelry. I will put a thread up there, and if you want to be in with a chance to win this bag, then enter the thread, basically. And yeah, I will draw a prize winner next time I podcast, which will probably be, I think it will be after the new year. I don't think I'll podcast while we're away. I think the next, so 2 weeks from today will be the day before New Year's Eve, something like that. So I'll probably record the first week of January. So it'll be 2.5 weeks, something like that. But I will announce a winner the next time I podcast. But this is the bag, this is the exterior. So it's this lovely, lovely grey fabric, which I think is really pretty fabric. And then inside, you have got all these wonderfully rude words, which again, I'm not going to say because people might have children around or something like that. And I don't want to be saying, but you can see the words on here. yeah, it's just a super fun bag. And I love how, as I said, how the interior of these, the exterior, sorry, of these is so normal and pretty, but then the interior just is that bit naughty. So yeah, as I said, I will put a thread up in the Ravelry group, and if you're interested in winning this project bag, then head on over there, and I will get you to answer me a question. What question am I going to get you to answer? So it is Christmas, so let's go with, what is your favourite part of Christmas dinner? Yeah, what is your favourite part of Christmas dinner? So head on over to the Ravelry group, answer the question, and you'll be in with a chance to win this lovely, super fun bag. Okay, so that is it for my yarny goodness. I thought I would just touch on a little bit of future knitting. And there are maybe 3 things that I'm really tempted to cast on. And I'm going to pick one, not 3, but I've picked out 3 lots of yarn to show you, which are things that I would like to cast on. So the first thing I showed on Vlogmas the other day, and that is this gorgeous skein of yarn here, and this is from Anzula Yarns. Tom bought this back from New York for me. It's a DK weight, it's in their Cricket DK base, and it is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere and 10% nylon, so it's super soft, and the colourway is mauve. But I really want to make the the Olive and Jack hat, which is a cabled hat pattern. And I think this would make a really lovely Olive and Jack. And I also quite like the idea of making this into a hat and then putting a pom-pom on it. And I'm hoping the colour will suit me. If it doesn't, I don't care, I'll still wear it. But I just think this will make a really fun hat. So I'm tempted to cast that on. And actually it wouldn't be too long term of a project because it's a DK weight yarn, although cables do take me a while because I'm not the most prolific cabler. I have not done a lot of cable work. I think it would be fun. So that's my first thought. And then the other 2 things I want to cast on, firstly, I've got this sock blank, that's the word I'm after, from Stranded Dye Works, which I bought at Unravel earlier this year, and have yet to cast on. It's in the ice skating, Party on Ice, this one's called, and it's a sock blank. So for those of you that don't know a sock blank, you unravel it from, this is actually the wrong end, so I can't unravel it from here, but you unravel it and you knit with it from the blank. So it will be a little bit twisty as you knit with it. I've got quite tight tension, so I'm hoping that will actually make it less twisty, because I tend to knit quite tightly, so it's less likely to be as twisty. How many times can I say twisty? Oh, hopefully Jasper's not going to wake up properly. But yeah, this is just quite a festive, I thought it was quite a wintry colour. So I'm tempted to cast on a pair of socks with this. But at the same time, I was planning on these being vanilla socks because it's a sock blank, and I didn't really want to knit a sock blank into a pattern because in case the wiggly jiggliness of the yarn affects the pattern. So yeah, these could be a pair of vanilla socks. So that's a potential cast on. And then the other thing I want to cast on is the evergreen socks. And I bought this pattern ages ago, and I bought the yarn for this pattern at Fibre East. And this is Socks Yeah, in their fingering weight. It's a 75-25 merino nylon. And what's the colourway called? Where is it? Topaz is the colourway. And yeah, I bought this with the intention of casting on the evergreen socks as kind of winter socks. And I've not had a chance to do it yet, so I'm very tempted to do that. And I'm thinking I might be able to get a pair of socks finished by Christmas. So I could have a pair of Christmassy socks then. So I'm not quite sure. I haven't decided yet whether these or these are going to be my Christmas socks. I did save myself a Christmas stocking sock set from the shop But to be fair, I'm so sick of that colourway, having dyed it. Having dyed like over 30 skeins of it. I am so sick of it that I don't think I could bring myself to cast it on at the moment. And then the other skein of yarn I've got is I've actually saved myself one of my Christmas mystery set skeins. But I don't want to reveal that until after Christmas. So I can't really cast it on. But I'm going to reveal that, and I'm going to reveal my 12 days of Christmas. Actually, I'm thinking I might do a 12 days of Christmas reveal over on Instagram, starting from Christmas Day. Because I know some people did the 12 days of Christmas, they've used it as like a mini advent calendar, but traditionally the 12 days of Christmas go from Christmas Day until the 5th, is it the 5th of January? The 12th night anyway. So I think what I might do is do a 12 days of Christmas reveal on Instagram. So every day I'll take a photograph of the mini skein and do a reveal kind of that way, potentially. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. And actually that might not be very practical because we're going on holiday shortly after New Year, and I don't quite know where that falls. I don't know. Anyway, on the next podcast, I will probably reveal those and the bag and everything that came, just so you get a bit of a taste for it in case you're interested in joining any of those kind of clubs next year. Anyway, talking of the shop, I have some shop news. So, what is going on in the shop? I haven't really got anything to show you. I am currently in the process of dyeing up the January flower fairies. I've got 2 more skeins. Yeah, I've got 2 more skeins to dye this afternoon. And then they're all done and they can be skeined up and shipped out. I am also about to start dyeing up a load of stuff for the shop. I'm planning on having yarn in the shop over Christmas. I'm not really closing. There will be a shipping break, so I probably won't be shipping anything from the 22nd of December until the 2nd of January. So there will be a shipping break then, but then I will be shipping again. I will be shipping everything out on the 2nd of January. If there's anything left in the shop after that date, I will also be having a shipping break from the 6th until the 13th, something like that. And basically we're away the week of the 6th. So again, the shop will remain open, but things won't get shipped while I'm away. So hopefully people can understand that. But at least the shop's open, so there's the possibility of them being able to purchase something, even if it doesn't arrive straight away. I will be leaving my pre-orders up, however, while I'm away anyway, because they don't ship straight away. So anyway, my point being, I'm in the process of dyeing up some yarn for the shop at the moment. So yeah, I'm hoping to have a few sock sets. I'm going to have a few 100-gram skeins. I've got a few new colourways going in there. I've got a couple of sock sets that I'm bringing back again because they're very, very popular. So that's the plan. The pre-order for February's Flower Fairies is currently open, which is inspired by the Primrose Fairy, and the Flower Fairies pre-orders, that is, the Primrose Flower Fairy. The spring, the pre-order for the Spring Flower Fairies Yarn Club is also open, and that's for the full 3 months. So that will be March, April and May. And that's open at the moment. That's going to be remaining open until the end of January. So I'm going to give people two months if they want to sign up for the whole club. But as I did this time round, the individual months, March, April and May, will also be available for pre-order. So March's pre-order will open at the beginning of January. Yeah. So it stays open from the beginning to the end of January, and then I dye it and ship it out in the last week of February. So they're currently open. I am thinking of doing a Valentine's self-striping, and it sounds ridiculous to be talking about Valentine's Day already, but my self-striping has been really, really popular. But I'm trying to work out how I can logistically manage to keep doing some self-striping, because it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. So I think the best way to do it is going to be to do self-striping as dye to order. So but I'm also not going to be able to do self-striping every single update or every month. So I think what I'm going to do throughout the year, I'm going to pick some special occasions or some special events, and I'll create a self-striping colourway or a couple of colourways for those events. So I'm planning on doing a Valentine's Day self-striping, which I will probably list at the beginning of January again, if I get a chance to dye. Mind you, I guess I could dye it up. I don't know, I'm trying to think where I can fit all this in. I might try and I want to dye one up so that I can get photographs and I can have a play with the colours. And then I will list that probably sometime in January, with the aim for it being shipped at the beginning of February, so that you should receive it by Valentine's Day. But yeah, hopefully that's the way I'm going to progress with the self-striping, I think. I'll always make sure that I've got one dyed up so that you can see what it's going to look like and you can get the photographs. But then I think I'm going to list them as dye to order with limited number of spaces, because yeah, the practicalities of it, it takes a lot of time. And if I dyed up a colourway that people didn't like, and I dyed up three or four skeins of it, then it might feel like quite a lot of wasted time. So I think I'd rather keep that as dye to order for the self-striping. I think. I don't know. I might change that come the middle of next year. We will see. But yeah, that's all I've got for shop news at the moment. So that's pretty much all I've got for this week. And I realised that I forgot at the beginning to say hello to anyone that's new. So if you've stuck through the whole episode and you're still here, hello and thank you very much. Welcome to Giddy Knits. And for those of you who have come back to watch me again, thank you so much for checking me out week after week. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, then please hit the thumbs up down below, and hit subscribe if you want to be kept up to date with my regular videos. That will also keep you up to date with Vlogmas videos as well. And I will see you again in 2.5 weeks time. Well, in fact, I will see you again after Christmas and after New Year. So happy Christmas, everyone, if you celebrate Christmas. And Happy New Year. I hope everybody has a lovely festive period, and yeah, I will see you all again in 2018. Bye.